something about it, I don't know if it's just because of where it happened or when it happened, but this is something I will never forget. It is Sunday, October 31st, 2021, and on this Halloween edition of Sunday Sofatime, we're talking about a once-in-a-lifetime cruise experience I had. What is everybody doing for Halloween? As always, I love it when if you've done some sort of crazy Halloween costume or your kids are in crazy Halloween costumes, send a picture to me over on Instagram or Facebook. I love to look at those things. I loved Halloween when I was a kid, but here in Germany, and when you live in a big city, it's just different. All right, just a short summary of what I'm about to show and tell you. I got a private tender boat ride on the Apex, and I got to see something that most people don't get to see. And that's what I want to tell you about now. As always, before I get talking about the main subject of this video, there's just a couple quick things I want to discuss. First order of business is the C-Day t-shirt that you saw in my cabin tour video from a couple days ago. For some reason, it disappeared from my merchandise store. I didn't get a notification about it. It was just gone. And some of you have been writing to me saying that you were looking for it and couldn't find it, but now it's back. That's what I spent all morning trying to resolve, and now it should be back. So follow the links if you're interested in that t-shirt or other merchandise from the very unofficial travel guides. Remember, anything you buy from that store helps support what I do, and it's pretty good stuff, especially the towels. The towels are so fluffy. Another thing I wanted to mention is recently on Facebook, I posted just a post about how the thumbnails and the titles of other cruise and travel vloggers at the moment are very sort of sensationalized, and I never use the word clickbait. I see what the other people are doing. I understand why they're doing it, and if you look, their videos are getting all the views. Like I said, words like hate and canceled and disgusting in the title of a video at the moment, somehow the YouTube algorithm picks up those videos, and those are the videos that get pushed out to people's feeds. So I totally understand why the other channels are doing that. And for me, clickbait is when you're posting something in your title or in your thumbnail that absolutely does not appear in the video. Like, you know, there's these videos of world's most dangerous roller coaster where you see like a loop and there's part of the loop missing. That is clickbait. That does not exist, and you don't see it in the video. I would say the trend at the moment for the cruise community is very sensationalized titles and thumbnails. And, you know, like I said, that's fine. And I'm not hating on any of those channels. Some people were thinking in my Facebook post that I was like calling ship life out, but I'm totally not. I understand why he's doing it. And if you look at his videos, they're getting the views. So he must be doing it right. All right, now that that's cleared up, I want to get into this once-in-a-lifetime, really special experience I had on the Celebrity Apex. And I mentioned this in also a pretty recent video about how I thought that the magic carpet, this like platform that goes up and down the side of the ship, that for me, I totally couldn't be bothered if it was there or not until it was used as a tender platform. When a ship is in a port where it cannot dock, you know, like be attached to land, then you will tender from the ship to the shore using smaller boats. And on every other cruise ship I've been on, and it's been a lot now, you always have to sort of, I say, jump out of a hole on the side of the boat. Usually have to go through some sort of crew-only area, and they open a big door on the side of the boat very close to the water line, and then these smaller boats come over, and you jump from the inside of the big ship to the inside of the smaller ship. And that's how it usually works on every other ship. But on the Celebrity Apex and on the Edge, this platform, lowers all the way to water level. And the experience of leaving the ship through this facility is amazing. It is a fantastic upgrade, and it seems like you're leaving a private yacht basically, and not like you're walking through ugly crew areas and then, you know, having to sort of clumsily jump from one ship to the other. I show you the whole thing. I mean, everything that I could have recorded, I showed you in the Santorini video, but there's something that I didn't show you, and that's what I wanted to show you now. On the day we were in Santorini, we came back to the ship later in the afternoon, probably, I don't know, it was probably like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we had been walking around and sweating all day long up there in that fantastic city in the clouds. If it had been just a little bit cooler that day, I'm sure we would have stayed there longer, but we were both just kind of done.
Done like a Christmas turkey.
So we went back to the ship, we cooled down a little bit, I think we went to the pool, and then we had dinner that evening for the first and only time in one of the main dining rooms. Otherwise, we were always in the buffet or our blue restaurant, which was included in our Aqua Class package. The main dining room was excellent, but there was a noticeable difference in quality and service, I would say, compared to what we got in blue. And I'll probably be talking about that in some other video coming up. Why did I just laugh so hard about that? Was that funny? The ship stayed in Santorini for quite a long period of time. You know, usually when you're in port, all aboard time is like at 6 o'clock in the evening at the latest. And I think in Santorini, it was 8. It was either 7 or 8 in the evening. It was after sundown, and it definitely gave people the opportunity to also have dinner on land if they wanted to, and that's something that very rarely happens. Like I said, we took advantage of one of the main dining rooms back on the ship, and while we were sitting there, I just realized how gorgeous this view of Fira, the city up there on Santorini, up on the cliffs, just how amazing that looked. And I thought, okay, the sun just set on the other side of the ship. That must also look amazing. And as we were finishing our dinner, I just thought, okay, I want to go back out on one of the tenders and just see what this is like. I want to see the sun setting behind this gorgeous ship, and I want to get closer over to land to look up at the city again. And it was already shortly past 7 when I made this decision, so I kind of had to hurry, and I left Marcus in the main dining room to have dessert on his own, and I hustled down to the tender platform, which was a magic carpet, like I said. They were totally surprised to see me there because it was already so late in the evening that basically everybody was back on the ship. There were 6 people, I think they said, that were not accounted for yet, and they weren't expecting anybody to leave the ship again, which makes sense. I mean, there's like an hour left. Who would be doing it? Me. I would be doing it. So when I showed up in that like extra lobby below the main lobby, they were like, oh, there's somebody here. And I asked them, I said, I'd really like to just go back over to land. I don't even want to go on land. I just want to ride with the tender boat over, and then I'll come back with the next group of people. And they had to sort of radio a tender and get it all organized because, like I said, they weren't expecting anybody to leave again at this time of the night. They were just waiting for the final people back on shore to appear so that they could all come back in one tender and then done. So what ended up happening is I got a private tender boat ride from the apex in this beautiful bay off the coast of this Greek island over to land all on my own. And I'm gonna start showing you the pictures of it now. I thought about making this like a sort of like an ASMR video with just giving you the normal audio that I heard, so it could be just, you know, like you come along for the experience. But unfortunately, the captain of the tender boat had the radio on, and that music is going to get the video blocked basically. So that's why you're hearing me talking as you're watching this view in this tender and the ship getting further and further away. This isn't even the most amazing part or the most special part of it all, being alone in the tender, getting my private ride. That's coming up, but I'm just gonna give you a little bit of music to set the scene here, and I'll be back in a second. Once we got over to land, I just assumed that I was gonna just wait in that tender until the other people showed up and not even set foot on the dock again. But after a few minutes, the captain basically kicked me out. He motioned to me that I should get out. I don't think he could speak English and I can't speak Greek. And somebody on shore then explained to me that his ship was done for the night and there was another tender waiting there, and that was gonna be the one that I would go back on. And not only that, but it was going to be the last one of the night, and so I might be waiting there for a while. And I thought, okay, it's still like, 78 degrees. I've got the ocean atmosphere in this unbelievable place.
Why not?
Of course, it would have been nice if Marcus had come with me because it was also a very romantic scene, but he didn't want to rush, and I can totally understand that. Once the missing passengers showed up, and I mean, these people were just taking advantage of the extra time they had on the island. They could have stayed longer, actually, but everybody showed up, and then we all got into the final tender back over to the ship. And this is where something different happened. Usually on the apex and the edge, when they are tendering, they use this feature, the magic carpet, as the tender dock. That is one of the main things that it's built for and something that makes it really special. But as we were sailing back to the ship, we noticed that it had already started its journey back up to its higher position. So not only did we get to see it moving from down on the water, we also got to tender in a traditional style like you do on every other ship, which is something that I think hardly ever happens on the Apex. If you've cruised on the Edge, or if you're one of the few thousand people who's also cruised on the Apex and you tendered someplace, please let me know if you boarded and got on and got off at the magic carpet, or if you got to go through a hole in the side of the ship like we did. And this view of this door open and the crew standing there is something that very few people get to see, and I think usually no one gets to see it. And it was just so cool because then when we approached the ship, the magic carpet was not yet in its position, and so we weren't allowed to move over next to the apex because I think out of safety reasons it has to be secured in position, because I don't know, technically it could then come down and squash us if we're right under it if it's not locked. So we basically hovered a couple meters away from the ship for maybe 15 minutes as this gigantic thing moved up, and we just watched it. And it was, like I said, it was just so cool because I just realized nobody gets to do this. This is something really special, and I don't know why they decided to move the magic carpet up when they did, but I wasn't complaining. If you listen to the other people in the tender, I think they were joking about that they forgot us, and that's why we had to tender the way that we did.
Y'all forget about us and raise the magic carpet.
Instead of using the magic carpet, jump through the hole, that they were thinking that they moved the carpet up because they weren't expecting anybody else to come back. But they definitely knew what was going on, and for some reason they just decided to, do that process then when they did. Finally, when the magic carpet was up at its position, we jumped into the ship, and that was how the night, or that part of this fantastic experience, ended.
I know this wine I had is starting to be like.
And we're gonna go to the martini bar after this too. So
I've seen the show. It's quite fun.
the crystal.
No, the martini show.
Oh, the martini
They
bar.
do it at 7 and 10:30. Where they do the flair bartending. You didn't see that yet?
I don't remember. I was so martinied out that night.
Sounds like me last night with my Long Islands.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Long Island put me in a hospital.
Yeah, Long Island took my money away in the casino.
I'm gonna show you my sea legs today.
We're chilling. Keep your hands and legs inside at all times.
Make sure that you can fall out.
Y'all forget about us and race Mexico?
Who got it?
Alright.
Perfect. Very good. Spider-Man.
Oh, I guess we're leaving.
Things like this, just random things that, you know, some people will say, okay, well, this really isn't that big of a deal, but something about it, I don't know if it's just because of where it happened or when it happened, but this is something I will never forget. I don't know why. It was so cool with the sun setting and the city up there, and it was just the only thing that would have made it better is if Marcus had come with me, but this is not a guilt trip on Marcus. I understand why he didn't. If you've ever had one of these sort of random, crazy circumstances, one-of-a-kind experiences on a cruise or on your vacation, for instance, like if you've been trapped. Oh, don't use that word, Morgan. If you were on a Disney attraction like Rise of the Resistance or Splash Mountain and they had some kind of system stop and then you have to walk down through the attraction and go through the backstage areas, when things like that happen, I'm fascinated by it. So if you've ever had anything like that or on a cruise, let me know in the comments below. And speaking of comments, now comes the time on Sunday Sofa Time where I comment on your comments live on air. In last week's Sunday Sofa Time, I talked about 10 things I did not hate about the Celebrity Apex. That's me hacking the algorithm, still getting one of those negative words in there. It seemed to work. It got about 2 times more views than my videos are normally getting at the moment. And the first comment I want to read to you is from Sandy Tidwell. Sandy writes, "We were on our sister ship, the Edge, last month. Totally agree with your list right down to the infinite veranda. I was not a fan. To me, it was like having a port window that opened and not really a balcony." Yeah, that's a really great way to describe it. It's like having a gigantic window that opens, but it's not like having a balcony. Like I said, if you want to see more of what that's like, I posted a video just a couple days ago. P.S. I would add another love, the track. It's awesome for a morning run. Those magnificent sea views, the figure 8 with 2 levels, great way to start the morning. Yeah, the running track on the Apex and the Edge, it's really cool because it's like, it starts on one level and then it goes way down the back and then around the other level. It might be one of the longest running tracks I've ever seen. I don't know. Cruise runners out there, what ship has the longest running track? Is there a statistic for that? Next comment is from Dawn Clark, who obviously had a very different experience on Celebrity. 10 things I disliked on my Celebrity cruise: the food, the lack of activity, the shows, the service, how old and worn the ship looked, an upcharge on what felt to even breathe air, the thin walls between cabins, the rough sheets, the smokers from the balcony, having to hear from the staff about how much they disliked working for Celebrity. This is a company I will never with again. I'm so glad you were able your cruise. I regret mine. That can always happen. You know what I mean? Like, I also had a fantastic experience on the Aida Perla when I cruised with her beginning of the year, end of last year, and some friends of mine just recently cruised on the same ship doing basically the same route, and they had a totally different experience than I had. So I don't know what, you didn't write what ship you were on or, you know, itinerary or when it happened, but I had a fantastic experience on the Apex and I would do it all again. Final comment is from No Whammies. No Whammies writes, "I did not hate this video." Thanks, that put a smile on my face, and like I said, I hope that adding some of these terms, but like in reverse negative, will maybe help my channel a little bit, get more noticed by the YouTube algorithm and pushed to more of your feeds so I can entertain and inform as many people as possible. I hope you have a fantastic Halloween and you get lots of candy, and I will be back here in front of the red sofa next week for another video just like this. See you soon.